Welcome back to the Guitar Dork Show. This is me just rather seductively removing the neck of this guitar. Give it a little rub there, look, and then there we go. Neck comes right off. I wasn't feeling particularly talkative this day, so I've decided to do a bit of voiceover. As you can see, I'm showing off the fretboard and how gunky those frets are, which need to be cleaned up. And here I am manhandling the volume and tone pots off. Some people would use a little device for that, but I do have bear-like strength in my fingers. Grrr. Now at this point, there were some issues with the pickups. The screws were corroded horrendously, and they were not coming out, so I had to use a little bit of WD-40 to loosen those bad boys and allow them to come out with gusto. It's me flipping it over. I'm now starting to take off some of the electronics and the earthing cable. I was slightly puzzled by what's going on with the wires here. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm going to have to probably invest in some diagrams and put them all back at some point. But, you know, it's all a learning curve that I am willing to go in. That's me touching a soldering iron with my bare fingers. I wouldn't recommend that. It can be quite dangerous. So here I am attempting to remove the electronics. I was talking about maybe just replacing the switch for a new one, because this particular switch was very crackly, and every time you moved it, it was like like that, and it was pretty damn terrible. So I can't imagine they're that expensive, and I'll just grab a new one. £2 probably. Get one on Amazon. Oh, this is my little sucking device. Very impressed with it. Watch. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. The way it just plopped out there. Recommend getting a soldering sucker. This thing could suck the chrome off a doorknob. I have lots of ideas for these videos, and one of the ideas I had with this particular project was also to give it away. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, I would then track down one of those 1,000 people and give this guitar away to them. That's still my intention, and I would still very much love to be able to do that. So stay tuned, like and subscribe, and you may be able to win this guitar. Woo! Now, I'm not the most academically inclined human on earth, so the thought of rewiring all of this is ever so slightly terrifying. I'm probably going to use this video plus some other more professional YouTubers' videos on how to get this all back together, because this it is always seen a little bit like rocket science to me. I mean, it can't be that hard, but you know, we're talking about me here. So this is me just using my soldering iron, which I had at 380 degrees, which was plenty hot enough to melt through that old solder like butter. Trying to keep certain components together just so I've got something a bit familiar to work off of. I might even replace these pots, because once again, I can't imagine they're overly expensive, and yeah, I'd hate to put this all back together and then have this just not work, or be as bad as it was before. The idea is to get this to, you know, decent working condition, because the neck on it wasn't too bad. It played relatively well considering the strings were super grim and potentially would give me tetanus. But yeah, I want this playing well. These are the pickups coming out now, and as you can see, one of them sort of broke as I was pulling it out. It came away from its back plate. Yeah, there we go, look at that. Made a right meal of it, but it'll all go back together fine, I'm sure, and if not, it will just be like a Frankenstein guitar. I just won't bother having a neck pickup. Actually, no, that's ridiculous. I literally live in the neck position, so I'm gonna have to have a neck pickup regardless. Might put a Sustainiac in there. Ah, don't get ahead of yourself, Carl. And for this next part of the video, I am going to experiment with trying to sort out the paint chips on this guitar. I've got just some small little tin of paint from Northwest Guitars, which I think was Dakota Red. Probably should have gone for Fiesta. Didn't see Fiesta at the time of ordering, just got this one because yeah, I'm sort of an idiot. And this is me applying this very carefully with the correct tool, which is like a 33mm pink Jim Dunlop plectrum, which I'm fairly sure all professional luthiers use. And I'm just dabbing it onto some spots just to kind of test it, letting gravity do its thing. Also bought some stainless steel frets because once I've redressed these frets, I might just rip them off and then refret it because it's good practice. So I'm just looking at this now. That's drying. I'm going to, well, I was going to wet sand it with some 1200 grit sandpaper, but I didn't wet it. I just sanded it with the 1200 grit, and it was fine actually. It didn't cause any problems with it being wet or dry. I was very surprised actually, and I'll take you through that. Bought these cool little sanding blocks from Amazon. I'm sure they're available in other outlets around the country, but yeah, I've found it very handy because they're very small, so it allows you to work in small, tight spaces. I've got a couple of ones there. I think I used the little diddy one, and that's like a bigger wedge one. So prior to doing the wet sand part, you kind of need to get the surface of the paint off. And a good way to do this is actually with a razor blade, angled so, not going inwards towards the guitar because you will damage the finish. But if you can see there, I'm actually just brushing off tiny little bits of paint from the blade. Obviously be careful because it is a razor blade. It is incredibly sharp, so don't be doing anything silly to yourself. And yeah, you just scratch away and you can kind of feel it sort of bite on the surface, and it's great because it did a good job and made it really level, but not level enough that you can get away without using some sort of fine grit sandpaper, which is what I do in a mow. Now I've cut off a lovely little strip of sandpaper, and for those of you who are already ahead of me, you will notice the mistake that I've made, which is I put the sandpaper the wrong way around on the block because I am indeed an idiot. So this is it the correct way around with the abrasive edge facing outwards, and yeah, I just kind of hit that little spot until it feels smooth, until you can't actually feel it. So yeah, we're going into whizzy mode. I was really surprised. I thought it really damaged the finish of the guitar, and it really wasn't. Considering how much I'm rubbing here, you'd barely know. It just kind of took a lot of that surface level off. But once you buff the guitar after this, you can literally buff it out if there are any slightly kind of like white smoky marks. It'll take them right out. Now, if that was indeed the right colour and perfectly colour matched, you wouldn't see that chip. So that method is a fantastic little method for getting rid of paint chips. I would 100% use that again. I think if you had like a guitar that was like a black finish or something like that, this job would be an absolute doddle. But finding actual, you know, the correct colour is always going to be an issue. But I'm probably now going to take all the paint off.